Welcome, everybody, to another episode of The Mark Bishop Show. And our Postal Service is celebrating. Why? 250 years of service. By gee, that's a long time. Established in 1775, the postal system was so essential to winning American independence and creating a free nation. Did you know that? Well, that is mentioned in the U.S. Constitution. And Elliot Gruber is the director of the National Post Museum. He's my special guest for today's show. Welcome, Elliot.
Thank you very much for having me.
250 years, the U.S. Postal Service. I mean, it's continued to serve the same ideals, connecting individuals, communities, and businesses through an ongoing exchange of ideas, information, and goods. And although this is what amazes me, although the United States only makes up 4% of the world's population, the U.S. Postal Service handles 44% of mail across the entire globe. And that's why it's regarded as one of the most efficient mail systems in the world. So what say you, Elliot? Why is that?
Well, I think it starts with the founding of our country, when communication was essential to creating the United States. During the American Revolution, people referred to it as these United States, plural. We only later on became a single entity. And it was essential to have that kind of communication because you don't want the British reading and intercepting your correspondence, seeing what's in the newspapers, what's being written. You are at war, and you want to be careful about what is shared. And I think that has continued throughout our history in terms of the safety and security of the mail and the largest of our country, to always network in people from disparate places and long distances in a way that's very meaningful, and it's been an essential service ever since 1775.
Amazing, isn't it? I mean, in the snow, the rain, the heat, the gloom of night, the USPS reliably reaches us where we live and work. And today, nearly 169 million delivery addresses nationwide at American communities near and far are connected by the U.S. mail. So let me ask you this. Will the Postal Service continue to provide all Americans everywhere in the nation with a free mail delivery network while remaining an integral part of the U.S. government? What do you think, Elliot?
Well, that is really up to Congress and other folks, but I would say that the postal system and the Postal Service is integral to who we are as a nation. In the beginning, it's a lot of letters and packages that were mailed. You have catalogs and magazines and whatnot. Fewer letters are being mailed now, but is there a person, probably listening to your show that has not ordered something online and getting a package? And whether they order from Amazon or other companies, typically that last mile delivery is more often than not being provided by the United States Postal Service. And if you think of recent memory, during COVID, during the pandemic, a lot of people could order, those kits, the COVID test kits, and those were all handled by the Postal Service. They are also first responders. If you think about, natural disasters, people think of FEMA and other places, but it's the postal carrier who knows where people live. The Postal Service who actually has offices in every community. So they are just they are part of who and what we are as a country. And so hopefully it will continue for another 250 years.
Yes, totally. But how can it be that the Postal Service is older than the United States?
Well, I think what happens is that you have a fact that the founding fathers knew that it was essential to connect all Americans under one banner, under one cause. And that is why they hired and chose Benjamin Franklin as the first Postmaster General. Most people know Benjamin Franklin for flying a kite and, attaching a key to it or some other things that he's done, right? A brilliant politician. But in 1775, on July 26th, that is the date that he was chosen to be the first Postmaster General. It was a logical choice for the Second Continental Congress. Why? Because he actually had already been the Postmaster General for almost 40 years. He was a postmaster in Philadelphia, Later on, he became the Deputy Postmaster General of all of North America, which at the time included Canada, which was a British colony.
Mm-hmm.
And he continued as a Postmaster General until 1774, when the British fired him. He too pro independent sympathies. He was too much of an American. So what did the Second Continental Congress do? Like, he's absolutely the guy for us. Not only does he have the experience, but the British fired him. So he is the one to lead. And he was very successful, by the way, in establishing operations and roads, postal roads, all sorts of things. He was brilliant.
Smart fellow, the old Benji, and the very first Postmaster General, 1775. July 26th. Now, how has the mail, do you think, being sent and delivered, how has that changed over 250 years?
It has really changed significantly. In Benjamin Franklin's time, you had horseback, mail carriers on horseback carrying the letters. Then as the country expanded west, you also have stagecoaches delivering the mail. You have steamboats going down the rivers. Railroads, Transcontinental Railroad was essential. And they all became ways of delivering the mail faster, secure, and over farther or more distance. You had the airmail. The advent of airmail only started in 1918, only not too many years after the Wright brothers, right?
Right.
And the Postal Service took decommissioned World War I planes, and they actually used them to create the new service. Again, how to get the mail move faster.
My word.
And if you think about it, you had companies like Boeing and United and American Airlines all had early contracts with the Postal Department, as it was called then, before they actually had enough people to carry on as for passenger airlines. Mm-hmm. So Postal Service, at the Postal Museum, what we like to say is that really postal history is American history, because the Postal Service reflects all of that progress over 250 years of our country's existence.
So if people, can my listeners go on to your site and have a good look at the museum? Is there a lot of stuff on that?
They can, one, come to the museum. Two, when we're in Washington, D.C., right next to Union Station. Second is we have a great website called postalmuseum.si.edu. We're an educational institution, so it's postalmuseum.si.edu. And the Postal Service has great content, rich history, and other resources about its 250 years on their website, right, which is USPS.com/250. And that's also, those are two great places to go. And I think when listeners, will go to those sites, they'll be amazed at the stories and the experiences and how essential the Postal Service has and continues to be to this country.
And I think it'd be fabulous to see the museum in the flesh, quite frankly. It'd be fascinating. So why did the Postal Service invent zip codes then? Well,
zip codes were another way of delivering the mail faster. If you look at those 5 digits, each digit goes on from a geographic region all the way down almost to a carrier level route. Uh-huh. And so that was a way of expediting that. But that only began in the 1960s. I mean, nowadays we don't even think about zip codes because, when we order a pizza online, what do? We got to put something, where do you live? You're putting in your zip code, mm-hmm. right? And by the way, do you know zip code actually stands for something? It stands for the Zone Improvement Plan.
And there you go. Something new every day. Zone Improvement Plan. How about that? Zip
and two other trivia things I will give you. Is that,
we haven't got time for that, but I'd like to another time.
Okay.
So,
okay,
because we've got to close soon. But listen, any famous people who ever worked for the Postal Service?
There are a lot of famous people. You have Abraham Lincoln, former president, of course, was the postmaster of New Salem, Illinois. Another president, Harry Truman, worked as a window clerk. You have Charles Lindbergh, carried mail. You have Steve Carell from The Office and other movies, also worked at the post office. Probably my favorite one is Walt Disney. He actually was a mail carrier, and I'm told that he lied about his age to get the job. He was only 16 at the time.
Usually you hear that trying to get into wars, right? But no, that's fabulous. There you go. I mean, it's got a rich history, hasn't it? From Benny to Abe to God, you name it. So, sure, the mail, was important before cell phones and the internet, for that matter. Is it still important today?
I think the Postal Service is as important today as it was in years prior. I think the changes is the number of, say, first-class mail, letters that you and I would send as birthday cards or other things or bills in the mail, and that's being changed to really about packages. Because we're all getting packages. I mean, you think about 15, 20 years ago, did you really get a package at home?
Yeah, right.
And now it feels like every week we're getting a package at home, right?
Oh,
or maybe several times a day.
Every day. The trucks are going by and God love them. Yep, I tell you, listeners, more information. You've got to follow this up. USPS 250th anniversary. What are you doing for celebrations, Elliot? I mean, is there anything going on?
Well, actually, we're having a major family day tomorrow at the Postal Museum on Saturday, where we are known as the family-friendly Smithsonian. So we have, instead of Flat Stanley, we have Flat Oni because Oni is our mascot. He rode the mail rail cars back in the late 1800s. We have fun things with the United States Postal Inspection Service to do with fingerprinting. We have all sorts of activities tomorrow, and that actually we have guest artist programs as well.
Oh, fabulous.
So kids of all ages can take advantage of that at the museum.
Sounds like a ball. What a lovely day coming up. That's terrific. Well, it's been very interesting and educational. Thank you, Elliot. It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you very much.
Elliot Gruber, ladies and gentlemen, the director of the National Postal Museum. Right? Boy, some of that history, I bet you didn't know a lot of that stuff he shared. Anyway, we'll be back with another episode soon. Thank you.